Welcome back to the Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got another video today. It's a continuation of what are we doing to white people video. I'm seeing more and more of it, even in our manosphere videos and the videos I specialize in more. I actually see it in those videos now, and it's more, I feel like it's more the how can I be the most oppressed possible, and so I can oppress or use that oppression in a way to benefit me or to shit on other people. And I feel like it's the modern euphemism, the modern schooling of children nowadays, or just young people, because it's a lot of younger people, and tell you a lot more women are more on this rhetoric of it's okay to just trash on white people because it's not racist. I see a lot more men are a little bit more even keel about it, but a lot more women just seem to follow the narrative, which kind of makes sense because women are kind of followers. So if a whole group of an institutions kind of tells them something, they kind of go with it, where men are kind of like, that does seem a little bit off, right? So we'll have some discussions after we catch a couple of these clips. But yeah, they're in the manosphere, and women, the way women are talking about how racism is exactly how they speak about how men are, and how men are the oppressors or men are the patriarchy. And so there's no way for them to talk bad or go against it, or being misandry is not inherently bad because the patriarchy is worse. All right, so please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and let's get to the chow. It's chow time.
You date a police officer?
No, f the pigs, because the institution they support is inherently racist and profiles black and brown Americans especially, throws them into jail, which is a continuation of the slave trade essentially. People are working in prisons for less than minimum wage, making pennies and dimes, and it's unfair, and that's what you contribute to if you're a cop.
My question to you is, I disagree with you on...
Yeah, I bet you do,
what?
White boy.
That's a bit racist.
Oh my God, no, you're one of those. How can you be racist against, and I'm also half white, so like how can I be racist against you?
You don't think you can be racist towards someone who's white?
No, I don't, because you've never experienced racism in history.
White people haven't experienced racism.
One of the experiences.
What's your definition of racism?
I'd say basically like the persecution in any type of way that leads to the downfall of just like someone's life. Like,
would you date a police officer?
For one, that's not racism. Racism is just an inherent hate or prejudice against another race. And you calling him white boy, the way she said it was just, even if she wasn't trying to be racist, the way she said it was a derogatory way, right? It's like saying, oh, he's Cambodian. It's just like, what does that mean exactly? Is he a good Cambodian, bad Cambodian, or he's a Cambodian? You know, like, it's obviously meant to be derogatory in a sense, right? So when you're putting a derogatory meaning into identifying a person's race, seems pretty racist overall, right? And the way she said it, like, oh, you were never oppressed. White people were never oppressed. That's why you can't be racist towards them. That doesn't even make sense. Like, your definition of racism wasn't what the true definition of racism is. And this is what women do. They change definitions up on men, especially, to fit their narrative or to make their argument work, right? And they do it with men's issues, and they seem to be doing it with this race issue also. So I have another clip of like the continuation of this, and it's not much better. So
it's always going to affect my life. I can't take off my skin color. As a black woman, like, prejudices that exist against me don't exist against you, Brian. And that's why you can't be racist against a white person. So I'm sorry if you feel offended, But you are
She's not
white, and me
sorry.
calling you white boy isn't
It's
exactly
a bit.
racist.
I mean, you are addressing me by my skin color.
Correct.
I consider
Your
it a
skin
bit.
color will never lead to the, what is it, premature.
What does that have to do with it? You're literally addressing him by his skin color. Because his skin color hasn't been oppressed in your mind, you're allowed to say whatever you want. So, so I can speak ill of God then. Is that okay? Like to Christians or whatever it is, like because God was never been oppressed, but he's obviously oppressed people in a sense. He watches over people and causes miracles to happen. So he oppresses people. So we can just talk a mad ass about God or whatever it is, and it's okay because he's never been oppressed. Like I know my God argument is a little weird, but it doesn't make sense. It's just like her argument doesn't make sense.
Murder of yourself, like I don't know, like
I would actually point out one thing to you. Me as a white man, I'm the only male at this table here. There are more white men killed by police officers than women of any race combined.
I mean, then why aren't you mad? Why don't you hate police too?
This is such a victim mentality. Because this happened to white men, why aren't you mad? Well, maybe these white men deserve it. Do you not look at how the justice system works? Just because bad things are happening to people, there could be a good reason for it, right? So why would this be the same type of thing as racism?
Because I realize that police are a necessary function of society. Without
Correct.
police, it would be chaos. We need police officers.
I mean, I think that's really easy to say as you, once again, I'll reiterate, a white person. And again, that's not to be racist.
I'm just a little bit dumbfounded by these two clips. I do like watch whatever a lot, and when these clips came up, and the video that I did with Charlie about Charlie, and just about this particular topic, it keeps blowing up, and I get a lot of comments on it every day. So when I'm going through my manosphere stuff and I see it, I just kind of have to talk about it because it's a little upsetting. Because it's upsetting to me because they're literally brushing it off as they're brushing off men's issues and all the things that us men talk about in the manosphere. They're doing it the exact same way, almost systematically the exact same way that they're oppressed, and we're men. They could do whatever they want to us because we were originally the oppressors, or we still oppress them somehow, or whatever it is, right? And now it's just flipped the men to white people, and it's the argument works the exact same way for them. This is crazy, people. Crazy. How can we just judge? I'm not saying we can. You know what? I'm wrong. We can judge people by looking at them. We do it all the damn time. Nothing's wrong with that. But to inherently think, oh, because he's black, he's gonna be this, or because he's white, he's like whatever it is, white shenanigans. I see that on the last video, and I'm just like, what the fuck are white shenanigans? Because I don't even know what black shenanigans are, and I don't even know what Asian shenanigans are. So what makes white shenanigans, right? It's just, why are we fighting each other in every aspect possible? You got to remember, it's the top of the tippy top, which is probably most likely white, I agree, and most likely men. I also agree with that. But they're oppressing everyone below them. All the men, all the other white people, and all the other races, and the women. Why do you think that you get to just be racist towards all white people? Not all white people have that burden of ever oppressing anyone. Why are you using people's ancient history, I understand we use people's background and we use their, you know, the things that they've done to judge them. It's hard to use things that their great ancestors have done to use against them. That's nearly impossible, right? If you want to say that, I'm Asian. I literally have the Genghis Khan gene in me because he was such a prolific breeder and conquered literally most of Asia. But we don't see, I don't ever hear anybody talking about, oh, Asians conquered other Asians and Asians fucking murdered left and right. The Mongols were horrible. In a sense, yeah. And I have that gene in me. So am I a horrible murderer too? Because I murdered a shitload of freaking Asians back in the day, where they had to have, like, literally why they built the wall was to stop people from, like me, from, like, conquering over? Like, it's crazy, people. Like, judge a person by their past, not by their father's past or their great-grandfather's past or their great ancestors' past. It doesn't define that particular person.
Can you be racist against white people?
Based off of the definition of racism, yes, but it's not going to hurt them and hurt their opportunities like it does people of color.
Equitably.
Yes, you can be racist, but it's not going to hurt them or hurt any of their opportunities. How is that not hurting them? You literally just said it's racist, but nah, they can take it. So if I just called you a cracker, you just have to take it. What if I called a black person an N-word? They just have to take it? Like, your thought process doesn't make sense. Yes, it's racist, but they could take it. It doesn't affect. So I can call a black person an N-word. It doesn't affect their any job prospect of them, in a sense, by me calling them the N-word. But you admit that it's racist. So how can that person not take it as an attack on them when you yourself admit that it's racist? It's hard. Most people can't do that.
You can be racist to all races.
Yeah, they can get, you know, clowned on and all that, so yeah. It's possible.
Yes, I mean, it'd be possible to be racist to any race.
You notice the three men were very, yeah, sounds about right, where the women says yes, but, and just exactly how they do it to us in the manosphere.
Well, technically you can, it's not like an issue.
You can.
Technically you can, but it's not an issue. When did racism become not an issue? So you get to just be blatantly racist to any race and it becomes not an issue just because it happens to be a white person. It's crazy.
Oppress the oppressor.
Exactly.
Can you be...
That I hear all the time. You can't oppress the oppressor. How so? The oppressors aren't oppressing you. Not all white people are pushing all other colors down. It's literally the select few. And remember, in America, it's a democracy. Why do you think there's more women in office now? Because we voted them in. Why do you think there's more minorities now in office? We voted them in. How did they get into office when majority of the country of the time was still white? Oh, guess what? The white people voted for these people of color. Why are you not seeing that? There isn't enough people of color to put people of color into power. The white people had to give you some of that power to be able to do so. Not saying they're doing it because that probably sounded a little bit bad, but you know, like these people had to support colored people in their endeavors for colored people to be where they are now. So yes, are there racist white people? I'm not going to say there aren't. And some, you know, or do some racist white people deserve a little bit bad things to them? I'm not going to say they don't. So racist is racism, right? But I don't think you should just, even if someone is racist or a Nazi, let's say, I'm not going to go out there and just blatantly, yo, you fucking blah, 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 you suck, blah, 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 you need to go die. You know, like, why is it like that for white people? You know, like, what if, like the Black Panthers, when you think about it, I bring this up just because, you know, they fought for black rights and they've done some shady things. I'm not going to say the Black Panther were completely in the right in everything they did. They did a lot of shady things here and there too. Right? But can we say, oh, the Black Panther were bad because, you know, they did shady things? No, overall they did good things too. Right? This is where you got to look at the history of that person or that particular movement. Right? So if you look at white people in general, I get it. It makes sense why people can want to judge them throughout their personal, the white history. But at this moment in time now, it's not how it was. When Kings and Queens era, I can understand it. But now with democracy and how we are so intertwined with so many other races than before, it's crazy for the minorities, which are becoming majorities now, shitting on the majority. So once the minorities become the majority, wouldn't it be systemic racism now that you hate white people, now that all of the other races became the majority and white people are the minority now? Have you not thought of that before? Like, that will literally become the racism that you're experiencing now.
Hot take, you can be racist towards white people. Now before y'all come for me, this is something I've been thinking about. People who hate men are called misandrists, even though
Correct.
we live in a patriarchal society and men have more power than women. In that same vein, people can be racist towards white people even though white supremacy exists in our society. But that don't mean shit because it's not systemic. I can call you a colonizer, say your food is bland, or say that you're a... But white people have 10 times more slurs for BIPOC people and actually do real harm. So white people, before you cry about being targeted, recognize that you are still the norm on which all other BIPOC are being judged on.
You get videos like this that admits that it's racism, that admits that it's wrong, and it even compares it to misandry. But yet, it's okay. So this guy is like saying misandry is okay. Why? Because men were the oppressors, and men just have to take it now because we were the oppressors. And, you know, like, this is it's just such a crazy take on racism and definitions of words. Just because, like, he used the correct definition, he defined it properly, and he even like gave a good example, but threw it all out the window because they're white people and they've used more than other races, and they used like, what makes that right? I don't get it. Am I stupid? Am I fucking stupid, guys? Am I fucking stupid? Do I not understand racism, or did I not experience racism the way other people experience it? I grew up as a immigrant kid. I came here when I was 5 years old. Didn't speak a lick of English. Plenty of white kids made fun of me. Plenty of black kids made fun of me. Plenty of Hispanic kids made fun of me. A lot more white kids made fun of me because my school had a lot more white kids. That just made sense to me. I didn't think of it as a white racism thing. I really didn't. You know, as I got older, the racism thing started creeping in my mind a little bit more because school seems to teach some of these things. So,
Honestly, I'm not even hurt by this. I'm hurt by the fact that I took the time to put together a list of alternative ways of saying white girls or white people. Because a girl said calling them white girls is a racial slur. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That was for educational purposes. Anyways, and me as a respectful woman, I took that into consideration. Meanwhile, here you are using the same old shit that I hear every single day. Am I not worth it for you to be creative? Fuck you. Honestly, I'm not even...
I don't even know. I don't even know if she thinks... I don't even know if she knows what she did. Making a huge list. Like she said, she put in the time to make this list. Alternative words to call white people. Wouldn't that be racial slurs? And I'm seeing it on the thing, right? We see White Walker, Cracker Barrel. I don't know what this is, Snow Bunny or Snow something, right? And of course they're gonna shoot back at you with Ling Ling. You just literally posted a fucking list of all of the white racial slurs that you could think of. And you think that, oh, you did everybody a favor and you worked so hard to create this list of racial slurs. So I understand why they would clap back at you with Ling Ling, right? And it's just, she was worried about saying white girls for getting canceled or whatever. I'm going to say whatever I want. Can't white girls. Like, nothing racist about that in a sense, in my opinion. You know, because I call those guys Asian guys, you know, like, sometimes we do refer to people as that race because you see them, you know, like, that's the first thing you noticed. But I'm not saying, oh, Asian people do this. And like, oh, those are a group of Asians right there. No, that's a group of white people. It is what it is. But to put a list of pure racial slurs and you are scared of saying white girl, White Walker, Cracker Barrel. I think Cracker Barrel is a little worse than just white girl, right?
To me, a racist term is a word that carries a burden, and here's what I mean by that. Let's take the N-word, for example. The N-word has centuries upon centuries of oppression behind it.
We have to be very careful with some of the ideas and concepts that exit our mouth on this app and in real life. Correct. I see a lot of people on the internet say things like, to me, this means this, or I feel like this is the case, as a way to alter objective truths to fit.
As men, we see this all the time when we speak with women on the manosphere subject. So this is why I brought this up. Really, I wanted to really discuss this because I'm literally feeling the exact same thing that how white people are feeling, because this is happening to us as men through the manosphere, through through feminism and misandry and everything. So it really is entwined with men.
Their subjective feelings. Certain words and phrases just have objective and concrete meanings that don't hinge on subjective feelings, like the phrase racist term. Correct. Racism is defined by prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized, and a term would just be a word or a phrase. So a racist term would be a word or a phrase that accomplishes this definition. Nowhere does it say there has to be any historical or systemic burden to racism. So yes, there can be racist terms used against white people, as there clearly are. It seems like this whole concept of redefining words to suit our own personal or ideological needs stems from the idea that subjective feelings somehow trumps objective reality.
As men, we know this. Women, this is why I noticed that it's more women that are doing this than men. I don't know, like, I don't have actual numbers and facts to back that up, just anecdotally from what I've been watching on TikTok and YouTube, because I'm constantly on these social media things. Not that I want to be, but I have to look for content, and then, you know, I'm constantly just learning things too. So it's, I just have to bring it up. This matters so much now, I think, because I can actually relate it to the manosphere. But before, it was a little bit tough for me to kind of justify, like, how does this affect us men so much? But it really does, because they're using the exact same tactic and the same rhetoric that they use against men. Against, now it's white people, mostly white men too, because there's white women that still get away with it. And then there's white women that jump on the bandwagon to also shit on white men and saying, it wasn't us, it was all them. And it's just like, why would you want to do that? Like, you're just throwing your own kin under the bus. It's just, same thing with like black women and just hating on black men. You're throwing your own kin under the bus. Stop that. Stop that.
There's been a movement pushing this idea that how you feel on the inside is all that matters, and everyone should just allow and even affirm your personal feelings, even if they contradict with objective reality. At face value, it seems like a compassionate sentiment, but going along with this principle will definitely lead to a chaotic world where everybody is confused and can't agree on anything.
That's where we're at now, man. We're about men's issues, children's issues, freaking trans issues. I don't even get into that subject too often because I don't want to get canceled, but I have a lot of issues with some of the trans things that are happening, especially to our children. Yeah, I really do not want to send my kids to public school anymore after what I've been seeing. So, how was that, chow? I mean, okay, I do have some. I understand that, yes, the top of the top, literally, that controls everything, is most likely a white person, and it's most likely a man. I get the arguments that feminism tries to put, and then obviously this racism now tries to put, but they're really grasping at straws to make their arguments about these things. Because it's not all white people, it's not all Asian people, it's not all black people. So why would we want to just straight up blanket, oh, all white people are shitty? I have plenty of good white friends that literally have given me personal loans when I needed it, and like would give me the shirt off their back how good of friends they are to me. I would never call them, oh, okay, you know, I'm wrong. I would jokingly with them, you know, call them a little like, you know, things here and there, but it's jokes. They know it's jokes. It's not in a derogatory way where they just call me chinky. You know, and I'm perfectly fine with it because we know it's friends. There's camaraderie. It's boys being boys. We're gonna talk shit on each other. You know, it is what it is. Like, they call me darky. They call me darkness. Yes, I'm not that dark from what you guys see, but when I used to play tennis a lot more often now I only play like once a week. But when I was in high school, I was in the sun almost 24/7. So I was really, really dark compared to all other brown kids. So I was considered, like, they used to call me darkness. So yeah, it is what it is. And I took no offense to it because it made sense, because it was just a description of how I looked. Yeah, I'm darky. I could tell. Yeah, my whole family calls me darky, so I was something I was used to. But yeah, I mean, let's have a discussion. Put some comments down below, and I see why Charlie made the video. You know, like I said, when I first did the video with Charlie, I somewhat saw it, but I noticed it was growing. So I just wanted to do it, just kind of put my words out there. But now, after that video, it's been a month, and I'm just constantly on social media now, just trying to look for content to put on the show or put on my videos. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It is just as bad, I feel like, as men are being treated from women. It is literally that bad where they get to say whatever they want with no repercussions. No, men ain't shit. All men should die. Blah, blah, blah. And there's very similar rhetoric with white people ain't shit. White people should go, you know, die. They're telling white people to stop having offspring so they can die off within the next few generations. Like, wow. Wow. Like, imagine if someone came to you and said, you know what, you need to stop having kids because, you know, your race, it's dirty, and I don't like it, so it needs to die off. That's fucking ridiculous. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. It's chow time.